is with a very warm heart that we welcome you to today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuloko. Welcome to the month of February. Yeah, January 2017 is gone forever. February is in. But January 2017 did not go away without an earth-shaking event, an event that is set to take Nigeria to greater heights, the story of which we are going to tell you on today's episode of Tax Matters. Let's begin this way. Nigeria is in recession. Yes, it is confirmed. It is official. Nigeria has depended for far too long on proceeds from the sale of crude petroleum on the international market. Yes. The price of crude petroleum on the international market has fallen or is falling woefully. Yes. We must diversify. Yes. But you see, we have had those statements, those sentences too often that they are beginning to sound like broken records. But we know you have also heard made in Aba. Made in Aba. That is good music to our ears. And we are very sure that by the time we finish this episode, it will become good music to your ears. The government of President Muhammadu Buhari has decided to take action, concrete action to take Nigeria out of the woods. The government is jumpstarting a process that will make us look inwards and buy our own. It is the dawn of a new era. History was made in Aba, Abia State on Thursday, the 26th of April 2017, when the nationwide micro, small and medium enterprises clinics for viable enterprises was flagged off most befittingly in Aba. The micro, small and medium enterprises clinics project is an initiative of the Office of the Vice President, who, as you all know, is the chairman of the National Economic Council. The project is aimed at creating an atmosphere for structuring and repositioning micro, small and medium enterprises in Nigeria for optimum productivity and global competitiveness by providing them with tools such as information strategy, access to finance, and support to turn around their grassroots businesses into globally competitive enterprises. The Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinics is a nationwide event which will hold within 21 states across the country all throughout the year 2017. The project will be a series of two-day clinics holding in two different states concurrently across the various geopolitical zones, with the flag-off of the event taking place in Aba from the 26th to the 27th of January 2017. The micro, small and medium enterprises core stakeholders like the Federal Inland Revenue Service, SMEDAN, Bank of Industry, NAFDAC, Standards Organization of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Export Promotion Council will be on ground during the events to provide on-the-spot solutions to the participants in their various booths. The Federal Inland Revenue Service booth in each location is expected to be equipped and staffed by at least 10 officers who will answer questions and enlighten visitors on the programs of the service aimed at micro, small and medium enterprises, as well as carry out on-the-spot registration for taxpayer identification number and value-added tax. We recall that a few weeks ago, the Vice President embarked on a tour of Nnewi and Onitsha in Anambra State, as well as Shagamu in Ogun State, the three locations being well known as manufacturing centers of excellence. Like Nnewi, Aba in Abia State is a bastion of manufacturing, with the sobriquet made in Aba very well known to everybody across the world. And so it was not unexpected that the AMYMAT city will serve as a launching pad for such a laudable project. The flag-off was performed by no less a person than the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who was joined by the host governor, Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu, and his deputy, two of the senators representing Abia State at the Senate, as well as the member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Aba North and South. The acting president was accompanied by the Honorable Federal Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Okechukwu Enelama, and the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Dr. Babatunde Fowler, as well as Chief Executive Officers of other relevant government agencies, including the Corporate Affairs Commission, the Bank of Industry, NAFDAC, Standards Organization of Nigeria, and the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. The Maiden Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Clinic in Aba lasted for 2 days. On day 1, Thursday the 26th of January, the acting president, who was welcomed by a surging crowd, began by touring all the booths where he was received by the chief executive officers of the various agencies, followed by inspection of made in Aba products.
You made this?
Yes, sir.
You made this umbrella?
Yes, sir.
Where? Here?
Yes.
How did you do?
I bought the frame, the skeleton from China, then I printed on this material, then fixed it up with shade and fixed up the remaining parts. Then I make diaries, these tabs.
This
Skeleton from China, I got it from China. Then I print on this material. Then fix it up.
For the Jeep Fund, handled by Access in Abia State. They are here too, so this is an enrollment center. And we're trying to
How
do
many
one.
people have you?
We've enrolled 3,500 from Abia State. Presently, we have 3,000 on your BOI plan. Yes, sir. And we're leading in the country.
Every state is large.
Yes, we're leading in the country.
What's your target?
My target is 5,000 every month.
Fantastic.
At the FRS stand, the acting president was personally received by the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Babatunde Fowler.
They go around educate taxpayers, and these are some of the questions they give out to first of charge. By the Joint Tax Board, the facility management. Also, handling the amount of tax, company tax, also my tax. So this team, they go out to make sure that this process so when you go out, how do you go to the market, or how do you engage the director? So how does this work?
Well, to pay attention to the markets, once the corporate points on street, take a straight and go house to house.
So typically in Aba here, where they say they have hundreds of thousands of
We just opened the office in Aba and we are engaging them. Actually, today we've been able to talk to every delegate inside the hall. They spoke in English and the local dialect. So we have a lot of staff here who speak the dialect. And the response has been very nice today. And we intend to continue tomorrow.
But when you don't have an event like this, how does it work?
They're on the road every day. Monday to Friday, there are buses and they just have to
And there's
start
a way of measuring performance. How do you measure?
in terms of awareness and
Because
registration.
the person can drive with go ID.
No, they give you a report. They give you a report on a daily basis. And then we measure the registration and the awareness. People actually, because we also create a team for them. That's how we the numbers. So that's how the way of knowing how many people that were subject to the tax time. And those who don't yield on the first time, there's a visit until we make sure that the person has come into the tax time. And then for the informal sector, we take the associations into consideration when they have their meetings. With a large number of participants, we go there as a topic using the association to get to the members. And it works.
After the tour of booths and inspection of made in Aba products, the acting president and the host governor joined a distinguished gathering of traditional rulers, politicians, business leaders, and manufacturers for a tete-a-tete.
The choice of Aba as the first place that this clinic is holding is very, very apt, and we think we merit it. For the simple reason that here in Aba, there is hardly anything you ask the Aba man to produce for you, you will not get a no for an answer. If you ask him to produce a human being, he will go to his backyard, produce the human being, but the human being may not be able to say welcome or thank you. This is my way of underscoring the spirit of resilience and can-do spirit of the Aba, the average Aba person. the energy Aba people deploy to the production of those things which they can do with their hands is infectious and electrifying. Today's event is simply Mr. Vice President's initiative to bring down all the line agencies and ministries that are associated with the production and certification of one item or the other. We think that since the past few hours, 3-4 hours, that the original Aba people, the makers of the shoes, such as the one that I'm wearing, and the dress, such as the one that I'm wearing, have come face to face with NAFDAC, Standard Organization, Bank of Industry, and all those that are supposed to assist them in registering their businesses, promoting their production, and making it perfect and fit for consumption all over the world.
Aba is easily the manufacturing and small business center for Nigeria, easily. I think that from when we were young, we all knew about Aba made. Years ago, when you said Chinese made, people thought there was something wrong with it. Also, when you said Aba made, they thought there was something wrong with it. But today, when you say Chinese made, you know it is well made. When you say Aba made, you know it is excellently made as well. And that's why, I think it's an important lesson for us as a nation, that inherent in us as Nigerians is that great ability to do wonderful things, to be inventors, to be creators, to be innovators in various ways. And I think the Aba people and Aba businessmen and women and manufacturers, engineers exemplify that particular Nigerian attribute, the attribute of being creative and being very innovative. I think it was just about barely a month ago, I had gone to Nnewi, and also I went to Nnewi and Onitsha as well. We also went to Kano, just looking at small industries. We were looking at some of the industries there. One of the things that everybody seemed to be complaining about is how difficult it is to access credit, to access money. Also how difficult it is to get all of the approvals, registration, and all of those various things, NAFDAC, SON, Corporate Affairs Commission, all the different registrations. And we then decided that it would make perfect sense for us to be able to get all of these agencies together, bring them to a place that is the hub of manufacturing, the hub of enterprise of this kind, and create an interaction between them so that we can begin the process of showing our own agencies, our federal agencies, that their business is the business of facilitating trade, facilitating manufacturing. And just as the governor said, we are not supposed to be obstacles. We are not supposed to create barriers or barricades. We are meant to assist those who are doing business to be able to do it better. So I really would want to encourage all of those who are in manufacturing and industry that we want to be very hands-on on this. We want to go with you, whatever it takes to be able to get you to do your business well and to become major competitors worldwide. That's exactly what we intend to do. And that's why we're going round. We're making sure that we understand what the problems are so we're able to address all of those problems.
It's a new dawn in Nigeria, and the mantra is change. The wind of change is blowing all over Nigeria and beckons to you. One sure way to respond is to perform your civic duty, pay your tax. With taxes, government generates revenue to fulfill its electoral promises, ensure regular power supply, provide good security, standard education, medical care, true total change. Individuals and corporations enjoy specific benefits, rights and privileges for paying taxes and avoid the consequences and penalties of not paying. Oil revenue is no longer sufficient to bring desired change, but your tax can. It pays to pay your tax. A message from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Throughout the 2 days of the clinic in Aba, The Federal Inland Revenue Service received visitors at its booth, registering them for taxpayer identification number, for VAT, counseling, and advising. Alhaji T.K. Oseni is the Director of Federal Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Team at the Federal Inland Revenue Service. We know for a fact that small and medium-scale enterprises normally deal with state boards of internal revenue. But the Federal Inland Revenue Service has come out strongly in support of this clinic. The executive chairman has been in attendance in person, and so we wonder, in what ways is the FRS set to help the jump-starting of the revival of the economy anchored on these MSMEs?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, the SMEs that we're talking about fall under the informal sector. And as you know, for VAT items, informal sector is not excluded. So we are here as FIT, that is Federal Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams, to educate them as to what is required of them. Our role here, we are creating awareness for them because they are the grassroots and they have the number in terms of population, and they claim they don't know. So our duty is to educate and enlighten them. One, that what they are doing attracts VAT. Two, they must create legality in what they are doing. For instance, at this exhibition clinic today, you have SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, you have NAFDAC. Many of them have these beautiful products, but they don't know they should register with NAFDAC. So we are taking education to the grassroots. As the acting president said right there in the hall, that these people have to be encouraged. That is the word, encouraged. They are the bedrock of the diversification of the economy in Nigeria. When we encourage made in Nigeria, we can generate foreign exchange from there when we start exporting. When we pay too much attention to importation of goods and items, we are spending foreign exchange. So we need to encourage them. So the role of FIRS is to create massive awareness in terms of engagement and enlightenment. And I'm make bold to say a lot of people here are better off against yesterday.
How easy is it to acquire taxpayer identification number?
As of today, it is the easiest thing as long as you meet the requirements. For instance, right here, we brought the machine that if you meet the requirement, we generate a tin for you immediately, same day. For instance, I've told you, many of these people, they don't have registered business. That is a key condition. They must have a registered business, and if it's an enterprise or what, it doesn't matter. But your business must be registered. And you see, for the present JTB, that's Joint Tax Board, FRS is in alignment with all the states' Board of Internal Revenue. We share information. So even if the information should go to the State Board of Internal Revenue in Abuja, they will get it from us. If we have information to collect from State Board of Internal Revenue, Aba, we will get it from them. So it doesn't really matter if it's an individual or a corporate body. At this clinic, we can generate things because we have established a synergy, a collaboration between all the states, Board of Internal Revenue and Internal Revenue Services, and Federal Inland Revenue Service. We are one big family now.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service FIRS calls on all corporate organizations operating in Nigeria to register for the purpose of payment of taxes and obtain a tax identification number TIN. All registered companies must obtain a tax identification number immediately from the nearest FIRS office. You can also collect and return tax registration forms from the Federal Inland Revenue Service Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams, FEAT, on compliance checks exercise in your area. A company which is yet to commence business after at least 6 months of incorporation must pay a pre-operational levy of 20,000 naira in the first year and 25,000 naira for subsequent years to obtain its tax clearance certificate TCC. Note that filing and payment of VAT and withholding tax returns must be done on or before the 21st day of every month. Register for VAT. File all tax returns as and at when due. Be a responsible corporate citizen of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
The Joint Tax Board was represented at the Aba Clinic by the Secretary of the Board. You are Executive Secretary of the Joint Tax Board, and that comprises of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and all the state boards of internal revenue. In what ways are the tax authorities primed to support the growth of these micro and small enterprises?
As you have said, is federal government initiative to promote micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises nationwide. The important thing here is that bringing all the agencies that have one or two things to do in promoting small-scale businesses are all been called to come and form a one-stop shop unit here. And of course, you have the tax authorities, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and the State Internal Revenue Service. The small-scale business operators essentially fall under the jurisdiction of the state government as far as tax jurisdiction is concerned. So that shows that the State Internal Revenue Service has more to do in terms of bringing these people into tax net, as they have been encouraged to expand their businesses. They have been encouraged to also to access government facilities in order to enhance their businesses. Of course, they should also be encouraged to register for tax, so that they are not only being put into the tax net, they are also being assisted on how to use taxation to grow their businesses. Sometimes taxpayers, especially at the small scale, do not bother to keep records of their businesses. Once they sell, from the sales, they spend. So when it's time to put records together for tax purposes, there are no such record that could be used for assessment. So what you hear from them is that, I've not made any profit. They have forgotten that already they have been spending from their sales, they have been buying goods, selling and reselling. So now if you keep books, that will help you in knowing how your business is performing. And in that case, tax authority will also know ways to even give you incentive. There are various incentives available.
As for what the future holds going forward, what future do you foresee for micro, small, and medium enterprises in Nigeria?
I know that the idea being birthed today is going to go a long way in taking this country, taking the economy of this country, to a greater height. The idea is to translate these organizations, these businesses, from the little businesses they are now to international businesses. So they wouldn't remain the way they are. You find out that somebody is doing a small business, he remains in that level. He doesn't look at growing, he doesn't look at employing others, he just wants to do it alone. But the idea now is that we want them to grow. If you are good in this, come, let's support you to grow. That was why everybody, all the stakeholders were invited to come and be here today, so that they will hear from them, firsthand on how what the government is doing to assist them grow. Now for FIRS, if all these businesses are doing well, for instance, you want to go and get money from Bank of Industry, you need to be paying tax. You must have registered, you have a team, you should be paying tax to the government for government to support you to do more business. Imagine all these businesses come together and they register for tax, and we catch them into our tax net and they start paying taxes. This is going to be more revenue for us.
Say it again.
This is our president. This is our governor.
The micro, small, and medium enterprises clinics will hold in 21 states across the country throughout the year 2017. From Aba, the train moves to Sokoto and Ilorin in February, Ikeja, Lagos State in March, as well as Katsina and Ogun States in April. Aba, we salute you. We salute your can-do spirit. We salute your spirit of enterprise. And to our viewers, what's our advice? Buy made in Aba, buy made in Nigeria. And of course, watch Tax Matters and pay your taxes in due time. Let's see you around next week. Same station, same day of the week, same time of the day. Igbo kwenu, kwenu.